Hi, and welcome to Business Advisory and Tax Tips. This is Michelle Burke coming to you live from Annapolis, Maryland. Many of you know that I was in corporate tax for over 30 years, and then in January I went out on my own and formed health and taxes. There are only two things certain in life, death and taxes. I'm here as your business and your health and wellness CFO. Today, we're going to talk about the second stimulus and give you an update. We've been doing this every week for the last 24, 25 weeks, and I will continue to do so until we don't need to talk about the stimulus anymore. But right now, it's still pretty important. So last week, if you tuned in, you'll recall that we were talking about the Senate coming back from recess. They had drafted up what they called the skinny bill, and then they voted on that skinny bill on Thursday. However, the skinny bill did not pass the Senate. So back to the drawing board. The House came back from their recess on Monday, September 14th, and they have drafted a new act, and this one is called March to Common Ground Act. It's been drafted by 50 Republicans and Dems coming together to come up with some common ground. So what do we know about this stimulus bill? First, it's a $2 trillion bill. If you last recall, we were at $3.2 trillion on the Democratic side and 1.3 trillion on the Republican side, on the Senate side. And so trying to find some common ground, this one comes in at 2 trillion. So what do we know? First of all, the stimulus bill has the second stimulus check in it, back to $1,200 per individual plus $500 per dependent. So that's regardless of age and regardless if it's a parent or a college student or child, $500 per dependent. Again, a married couple would be $2,400 plus $500 per dependent. The income limits are still the same as they were. $75,000 as an individual or less will get you the full amount. $150,000 or less for a married couple will get you the full stimulus amount. The nice thing that's in this act is that there's a automatic third stimulus check in March 2021. However, that's going to be based off of need on hospitalizations and where COVID is, but it's at least built into the act to trigger if there's certain recovery is still needed and in place. So I kind of like that feature. Federal unemployment is in this. It will be $450 a week for the next 8 weeks and $600 a week for the rest of the year. And yeah, so that will be helpful as well to actually have that pass through all of Congress, right? Self-employed and small business, the second round of a PPP would be coming through with promises of more flexibility on what you spend it on, because remember, 60% of the past PPP, 60% had to be spent on wages. So a little more flexibility, and it's promised to be easier to do the forgiveness of the loan. So making that process easier. There's $500 billion in there in this act for state and local governments, only for debts incurred post-COVID. There's funding for schools. There's a continuation of the eviction moratorium. There's funding for testing vaccines for COVID, and there's funding for the post office and farmers. So it sounds like a pretty solid bill. So let's hope, since both Democrats and Republicans have come together as a collaboration to come up with this bill in the House, that they can get this passed. Nancy Pelosi has said that the House will stay in session until they pass something. So prior to go on recess again. The House is dedicated to passing something, and hopefully whatever they pass can also make it through the Senate. The president came out today and said he strongly supports a second stimulus check and getting money and more money to the taxpayers. So that's all I have to report. At least there's good news that the House came back. They made some progress on this act, hopefully being bipartisan, that there'll be more stickiness to it and we can actually get some resolution here sooner than later. So thanks for listening to that update. I want to invite you next week. As you know, I come every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern with an update of either business advice, definitely a stimulus update. But next week, I'm going to have a special guest on. He's going to be talking about different investment options, and I'll be talking about short-term capital gains and how you can use some of these investment options to take the most benefit of your short-term capital gain treatment. So stay tuned for that. Look forward to seeing you all again next week. If you have any questions, please either message me or comment below. If you got value in this, please comment below. Please share with your friends. All of that is appreciated. So thank you very much for checking in, and we'll see you all again next week.